22 hours above the Red Sea waters at 25,000 feet of elevation. The aviator controlling the A-18E Super Hornet peers downward at his objective, a Houthi armament storage facility concealed under layers of dense stone. A single opportunity exists to guide this 2,000-pound explosive device through the narrow ventilation opening. An error of 5 meters means the Houthis mock American naval power. Success triggers the most massive sequential detonation the Red Sea region has ever witnessed. No room exists for miscalculation. 10 seconds remain on the clock. Understanding why American forces arrived at this critical juncture requires examining the Houthis' catastrophic miscalculation 4 weeks prior. Consider this geographical layout carefully. The Bab el-Mandeb Strait lies before you on the map. Military strategists and tactical analysts classify it as a critical choke point in global maritime navigation. Picture it as the sole entrance to a massive shopping center parking lot during the busiest retail day of the entire year. 15% of all global commercial goods must traverse this confined waterway, measuring less than 20 miles across on a daily basis. Complete blockage means manufacturing facilities across multiple continents cease operations entirely, retail outlets empty their shelves within days, and consumers worldwide experience severe financial strain in their daily lives. Dominance over this strategic passage equals gripping the windpipe of worldwide commerce with an iron fist. Who maintains that deadly grip at this moment? The Houthi insurgents, operating from Yemen's coastal regions. These fighters differ vastly from typical rifle-bearing militants you might encounter in standard regional conflicts. This Iranian-supported and Iranian-funded organization exists specifically to strike commercial vessels throughout the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden regions, systematically sabotaging international commerce and compelling Western nations to cease backing Israel in the ongoing Gaza conflict. Their weaponry arsenal includes an affordable yet surprisingly lethal collection. Inexpensive Shahed unmanned aircraft systems, ballistic projectiles capable of reaching deep into Israeli territory, and most critically, mobile shore-based detection and tracking systems, playing constant hide-and-seek across the rugged Yemeni terrain. Against overwhelming American military power, the Houthis carefully developed an economic calculation, employing asymmetric combat methods designed to bleed resources. Their tactical approach remains straightforward and brutally simple. Deploy a $2,000 drone toward a commercial freight vessel navigating international waters. Intercepting it requires an American warship launching a sophisticated $2 million SM-2 interceptor missile from its vertical launch system. $2,000 versus $2 million. Their mathematical calculation assumes that excessive American expenditure on defensive operations leads to eventual silence and strategic retreat from the region. They ridiculed American restraint over the preceding weeks and presumed American fear of escalation. They overlooked one critical factor that would prove fatal. Never antagonize a quiet predator that is simply watching and waiting. Dogs that bark loudly reveal their underlying fear. Silent wolves demonstrate calculated purpose and deadly intent. At this particular juncture, you might wonder with good reason why such overwhelming military capability didn't unleash maximum force immediately upon first provocation. The explanation isn't indecisiveness or political hesitation, it's uncomfortable battlefield mathematics and strategic patience. Houthi military objectives never remain stationary in fixed locations. Here lies the tactical snare that has trapped many conventional forces. Early American retaliation means Houthis lose only visible installations and exposed munition warehouses that can be quickly rebuilt. Meanwhile, their portable launch systems and drone control teams, representing their genuine operational strength, scatter immediately into mountain shelters and cave networks to sustain perpetual asymmetric conflict. Such reactive fighting resembles attempting to crush individual insects with heavy construction equipment while the nest remains untouched. Throughout these tense weeks, while Houthis publicly celebrated damaging several international cargo vessels and posted propaganda victories online, American reconnaissance satellites orbiting high above, unmanned aircraft systems, flying surveillance patterns, and sophisticated signals intelligence platforms silently tracked every single pathway Houthis employed for their operations, quietly cataloging each unique electronic signature whenever Houthi detection systems activated their radars. The United States Navy meticulously recorded precise coordinates, preparing for the most significant offensive military operation in decades. Tonight, that comprehensive catalog reached completion with every target verified. Orders issued from the highest command levels, defensive posture ends immediately, offensive operations commence now. At precisely 0200 hours, the decisive moment finally arrived. The Red Sea darkness shattered violently under coordinated fire from 3 simultaneous vectors of attack. This was not a singular bombardment from one direction. This was a lethal orchestration of premier weaponry systems operating in perfect synchronization. From sea level, vertical launching system hatches aboard the Arleigh-Burke-class destroyer, USS Carney opened with mechanical precision. Dozens of Tomahawk Block 5 cruise missiles erupted from their tubes, trailing brilliant white contrails as they rocketed toward mainland targets with deadly accuracy. Below the ocean's surface, invisible to enemy observers, the Ohio-class nuclear submarine, a colossal submerged weapons platform carrying more firepower than most nations' entire arsenals, silently released another complete Tomahawk volley from beneath the waves, adding substantial weight to the concentrated assault. From upper atmosphere descended AGM-158 JASSM stealth cruise missiles launched from B-2 Spirit strategic bombers that had flown halfway across the world for this mission. Combined total, 180 precision-guided munitions and high-explosive devices hurtling toward their designated objectives. American operational objectives focused specifically on neutralizing Houthi adaptability and tactical maneuverability. The solution proved elementary in concept, yet extraordinarily audacious in execution. How do 180 separate missiles, launched from vastly varying distances across sea and air, strike their individual targets at precisely identical moments? Destroyer supercomputers operated at maximum capacity, calculating complex trajectories, accounting for wind speed, air density, and target locations. Certain missiles flew predetermined circular holding patterns, deliberately delaying their arrival time, while others accelerated to maximum velocity, meeting tight deadlines. 60 seconds remaining until simultaneous impact. As these deadly projectiles neared Yemeni airspace boundaries, unexpected electronic interference suddenly materialized across all enemy frequencies. Offshore A-18G Growler electronic combat aircraft simultaneously engaged their high-output jamming equipment at full power. They deliberately avoided dangerous zones where they might be targeted. They maintained safe distance while broadcasting powerful interference across all known Houthi air defense frequencies. Primary objective: achieve complete electronic blindness of enemy systems. Should any Houthi detection station attempt locking onto the approaching Tomahawk projectiles, their radar displays would show only meaningless electronic snow and static. 30 seconds remaining until impact. American ordnance descended like phantom entities shielded by impenetrable electronic barriers, targeting directly the surveillance capabilities and command infrastructure of Houthi military forces. Tomahawk missiles engaged shore-based fire control detection installations and critical communication towers. JASSM missiles breached heavily reinforced long-range ballistic missile storage facilities buried deep underground. 10-second countdown initiated across all systems. The heavens suddenly fractured with overwhelming violence. The largest coordinated offensive since Operation Desert Storm struck instantaneously like a massive steel barrier collapsing simultaneously across the entire target area. This represents the most savage and effective implementation of time-on-target doctrine ever witnessed in modern naval warfare. Death doesn't arrive sequentially at individual doors providing warning, but demolishes every entrance in one perfectly synchronized instant of destruction. In that single coordinated moment, the entire Yemeni shoreline fragmented under hundreds of simultaneous fireballs erupting across dozens of square miles. Coastal detection stations became twisted metal wreckage before operators could even transmit alert signals to command. Detonating munition facilities created enormous mushroom clouds of fire, illuminating distant mountain peaks dozens of miles away. Earth trembled continuously as though experiencing a magnitude 7 seismic event that registered on instruments across the region. Houthi air defense infrastructure wasn't merely defeated in conventional terms. It was absolutely annihilated in an overwhelming firestorm of explosive force and concussive pressure that left nothing functional. No opportunity existed for effective counterfire response, not even time for understanding the catastrophic events rapidly unfolding. But amid that tumultuous inferno consuming the coastline, one critical task remained incomplete. A task demanding millimeter-level accuracy and nerves of absolute steel. The A-18E Super Hornet glided through Red Sea airspace at 25,000-foot altitude with practiced precision. While 180 cruise missiles systematically destroyed broad-area targets across the operational zone, this particular aviator executed a singular critical mission requiring surgical precision. The Houthis' most valuable strategic asset, a hardened ballistic missile silo buried deep within a mountain where external fragmentation munitions couldn't possibly penetrate the rock. Selected weapons for this unique mission: 2 GBU-31V 3B bunker buster explosives specifically designed for this exact scenario. These aren't standard ordnance available in typical arsenals. They possess ultra-hardened alloy steel casings specifically engineered to slice through 6 meters of reinforced concrete like heated blade through dairy before their explosive cores detonate deep inside. But penetration capability means absolutely nothing without pinpoint accuracy on target. The aviator must release it so the explosive lands precisely within the small ventilation opening, providing the only access point. Like standing atop the Empire State Building and dropping a coin into a coffee cup placed on the sidewalk far below while accounting for wind. The targeting system achieved solid lock on coordinates. The aviator's finger depressed the release mechanism with steady pressure. 2 tons of explosives and steel separated from aircraft wing, descending silently through thin air. 10 seconds of suspended anticipation as the bomb fell, and then a colossal fire column ripped through the still darkness with devastating force. The entire granite mountainside shook violently as though struck by a titanic supernatural force. The explosion's massive shockwave propelled dust and debris hundreds of meters skyward in a dramatic plume, transforming the small ventilation opening into a blazing crater spewing flames. This was the dreaded cook-off phenomenon, a sequential ammunition explosion reaction where one detonation triggers the next. Within 5 minutes of the initial impact, the entire underground command facility and strategic weapons stockpiled that Houthis painstakingly accumulated over 5 years vanished from existence in a chain of internal explosions. Over radio channels, the aviator's emotionless voice cut through static interference with professional calm. Target neutralized completely. That strike wasn't fortune or luck. It was American military technological superiority and training excellence. Silence briefly covered this battleground, but only briefly. From several dispersed underground shelters that survived the initial barrage, desperate Houthis launched a final counteroffensive with whatever remained operational. American destroyer radars detected multiple signal clusters, emerging suicide drones, and low-altitude cruise missiles, heading directly toward merchant vessels and the American flotilla. Like a boxer knocked down but still swinging wildly to preserve some remaining dignity. But the Navy anticipated precisely this moment in their planning. In the Combat Information Center aboard USS Kearney, the commanding officer remained completely steady under pressure. He observed the screen displaying approaching drones and calmly ordered, "Hold vertical launch system. Activate the economical alternative system." The Navy deliberately altered engagement parameters to prove a point. They merged 2 defensive strikes with devastating consequences for the attackers. The AN/SLQ-32 V6 electronic warfare system, affectionately nicknamed by sailors as Slick 32, activated at full capacity with maximum power output. Instead of launching expensive interceptor missiles, the vessel projected invisible directed energy beams concentrated precisely on drone formations. Imagine playing an online game when your adversary suddenly disconnects your entire network connection. This sophisticated system fries the drone's delicate control circuitry, severs their GPS satellite linkage completely, and jams their navigation sensors with overwhelming signal strength. Leading drones began wobbling erratically like intoxicated individuals, lost complete control, and crashed into water before even detecting their intended target. But what about drones programmed for inertial flight without active navigation? America employs a time-tested sledgehammer, the 5-inch Mark 45 naval cannon system. Fire control system locks onto targets with computer precision, but instead of firing armor-piercing rounds, the naval gun loads specialized ammunition. Airburst fragmentation shells timed to explode. Sharp detonations resonated across the water. Shells launched and exploded directly before drone swarms at optimal distance, generating thousands of razor-sharp steel fragments traveling at supersonic velocities, creating a deadly barrier. The final Houthi drones collided with that invisible shrapnel barrier and disintegrated like tissue paper. Wings severed cleanly, fuselages shattered completely, plunging into water miles from vessels harmlessly. The outcome was catastrophic for attackers and rapid in execution. The Houthis' final 17 drones and missiles detonated in midair before understanding the source of defensive fire. Dawn emerged over the Red Sea with golden light, while American destroyers continued cruising peacefully across waves as though nothing whatsoever occurred during the night. On the distant Yemeni coastline, dense black smoke still ascended from smoking ruins of what once represented Houthi military pride and capability. Last night, the world observed more than just an aerial offensive operation. They witnessed a masterwork of contemporary military expertise where overwhelming power served calculated intellect and strategic patience. In conclusion, the Navy secured a crucial dual victory few outside military circles recognized. First was the tactical triumph on the battlefield. Employing the target saturation doctrine perfectly, America completely eliminated the adversary's defensive concept. When 180 objectives from radars and ammunition warehouses to command facilities detonated simultaneously in 1 second, Houthis had zero opportunity to adjust tactics or gain experience. That wasn't combat, it was large-scale obliteration. Second, and more significantly for future conflicts, is the economic triumph. Houthis attempted luring America into a financially exhausting conflict using $2,000 drones against $2 million missiles, but they failed spectacularly in their calculations. America didn't target the cheap drones. It targeted the Houthis' costly, irreplaceable infrastructure network that took years to build. And when counterattacking defensively, America utilized electronic warfare and inexpensive naval artillery to shatter the enemy's offensive capability economically. The lesson for any power wanting to challenge freedom of navigation is straightforward and harsh. Never confuse American naval patience with weakness or hesitation. We remained silent for weeks, not because we feared your inexpensive weapons. We remained silent to observe operations, evaluate capabilities, and ensure that when we decide to engage, it will be the final time you're capable of returning fire effectively. The Red Sea has been secured. The cost for provocation has been completely paid in full. What do you think about this retaliation? Will the Houthis learn their lesson, or will they persist with their destructive actions? Leave your comments below on this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe for exclusive military analysis from Military Frontline.